You see, gathered at the gates of New Wayton at dawn, a curious group of individuals. Uh, One clearly identifiable gnome from the Merchants Guild, dressed in their regal purple cloth, and the other adventurers who will describe themselves and introduce the characters, or rather the players playing the characters, starting with Grellet.
I am Grellet, and I'm playing Tarmas Gorefest, the fighter.
Who's next?
Mr. Odd.
Well, since you...
Well, I'm Christopher Odd. I'm playing as Grigor Cotton, the halfling rogue.
Zeke.
I am playing as Bob the Ranger. Yes, great name, I know. I am playing as a human ranger.
Everybody loves Ranger Bob. And Jury.
I'm JuryDutySummons, and I'm playing Throwhorn Mindshadow, a current bard and former miner.
And the gnome bows to you each as you walk up and introduces himself. He says, greetings, adventurers. I am Mr. Metalbottom, but please, just call me Bim Bum. And if this is all of us assembled here, we'll be on our way. I'll show you where the caravan was ambushed. And so you set out in the dewy morning glow along the northern path along New Wayton. And just after you get to the fork, where you would continue on north to Glassdale, you continue northwesternly toward the loop to Goldforge. When you see a site of recent chaos, there are a couple wagon wheels that have been dislodged from a caravan that's been toppled over. And this happened about 2 days ago, so there's been, some clearage gone on. Some passersby have cleared the wreckage, but, nobody has really cleaned it up. There are no corpses or any goods of any meaning left behind, but Ranger Bob, you can definitely make a nature check to give yourself an initial impression of the tracks left by the goblin ambushers.
Okay, let me look real quick. What skill is that under?
Knowledge of nature?
I have no knowledge of nature. I didn't actually skill that.
Okay, well, untrained.
Really?
Worst ranger
you're still
ever.
knowledgeable, even though that wasn't your specialty at ranger school.
What would be the actual...
All the knowledge skills are intelligence-based, I believe, but because you're a ranger, we'll let you roll wisdom for this one. If that's higher, you can pick the higher of the two.
They're both +1, so d20 +1. There we go.
Not bad.
15.
Not bad at all.
That'll do.
So you can tell that it was a fairly large group of goblins, probably numbering between 10 and 20. And the raiding party made off with what looked to be like large crates, large heavy crates, because you can sort of see how the imprints change as they're departing. And because of the weight of these crates, you expect that it'll be no problem tracking down these goblins. Bim Bum comes over and says to you, well, what do you find there, Mr. Ranger?
I'll kind of do that whole, down, looking at the ground, kind of skittering around or whatever, kind of looking at the tracks and just,
Train is
and
coming.
then after a minute I'll be like, well, I think there are about 10, it's anywhere between 10 to 20 goblins, and they made off with some rather large crates, just based on the impressions. See the impressions over here, That's where they were carrying these crates and everything.
You see the goblin, or the gnome scratches his head and he says, oh, I was afraid of that. We weren't sure if it was a large shipment that was coming in, but if you say it was crates, it probably was. There were 2 dynamite shipments scheduled, and we weren't sure which one had gotten hit. The smaller shipment just had a couple bushels, but this one was 4 crates. The dynamite's quite valuable. The Merchant's Guild will pay you a gold a stick for each of it that you return, and if my calculations are correct, there were about 400 stick crates on that caravan. Who knows what the goblins will still have, but know that you'll be handsomely rewarded for any dynamite that you're able to recover. This mission will surely be dangerous. I hope that you all are prepared and know what you're getting yourself in for.
Maybe.
Nasty
A lot of
goblins.
goblins.
I've smashed a head or 2 in my day.
I've got to get back to town business, but I'm sure you'll find yourselves better acquainted. Perhaps to get to know each other better, you could talk about what was your favorite thing from the New Wayton Harvest Festival, or maybe a festival from your hometown if you've never been to New Wayton before. If you require any further assistance in the future, you can always come and find me at the Merchants Guild. Again, I'm Bim Bum Mevelbottom, and I'm the alchemy deputy. I oversee the trade related to all alchemical substances in New Wayton. So, again, gentlemen, best of luck. Godspeed.
Alright, cheers.
Aye. The lasses at the
Nothing
festival.
better. Nothing better than probably trying to play a British guy, I guess.
It's my best effort. I'm
So
sorry.
the recommendation of the gnome was that we all take it in turns now in character, leaving our real life personas behind, and sort of introduce ourselves as we might in character, saying our name, our occupation, and perhaps our favorite part of the New Wayton Harvest Festival or another festival from where our character grew up. So let's just go in the same order for convenience sake.
Well, I'm Thomas. I used to be a guard in New Wayton. I used to look out to Harvest Festival, but, kind of grew out of it, grew out of town. Spend most of my days on the road.
Wow. Who was next?
Mr. Odd.
So I am Grigor, and I'm not really into festivals anymore. I find them to be aimed at children, and I am quite an astute individual by this point, living on my own for so many years, and I tend to stay away
you're
from
not much
festivals.
taller than a child.
Yes, I've heard that joke many times.
Aye, and many more.
Yeah, exactly. It never gets old.
Damn thieves always claim to be so astute.
Yeah.
Wow.
What about you, Bob?
Okay. Well, my name is Bob. I'm a ranger from Greystone Keep. What was it? I don't like the festivals or anything like that. I prefer to stay on my own for the most part, despite the small groups I may otherwise wander in and out of at my leisure.
Surrounded by a lot of fun-loving folk. Oh, I guess that makes me next, eh? Well, I love the festivals. I am Thornhorn Mindshadow. And, well, what do I love best about the festivals? The gals and the gold, of course.
Alright, so times are wasting, the goblins are only getting further away. So what we're going to do to determine how you approach the goblins is conduct a skill challenge. And so the way that this is going to work is we're going to take it in turn, actually initiative order, but that's just to determine who goes first among the party. So the first thing I'd like you to do is all roll for initiative.
What's my initiative?
Do we include our modifier?
Include your modifier, yes.
Okay. And what size die is this?
This is a 20-sided die. Generally speaking, unless you're told specifically otherwise, it's always going to be a 20-sided die.
Okay, good to know.
Oh,
Wow.
really?
Look at these rolls.
Critical
Well,
failure.
you're just competing with each other, so it doesn't matter.
Wow.
I apparently just never do it.
I
Now,
hope
I'd like
there's
for
a lot
you
of
all
swimming
to,
in this
on
one.
the left side of your Roll20 interface, there's a little picture of a clock that will bring up the initiative turn order if it's not up for you already. I'd like to go next to your portrait and enter in your initiative result. So that's the total of your roll and your modifier.
How do I?
How do we change it?
Oh, can you guys not change that?
Nope.
Change
No.
that. Settings. Crap. Okay, we'll just go then blind say who it is. Jury, what's your character? What's Thohorn's? Am I pronouncing that right? Thohorn?
Yeah, Thorn.
What's his
2.
initiative?
2.
2?
Well, I rolled a 1, so take that for what it's worth.
Tarmus.
I roll an 8.
And I'm assuming that's your results. Grigor.
6.
And is it Grigor?
Grigor.
Grigor. Okay, Grigor, 6. And Bob.
A6.
Starting with Tarmus. Use one of your trained skills that would be useful in a wilderness tracking scenario and describe how you are using it. If you succeed, the outcome of this skill challenge will be more favorable, and if you fail, the outcome will be less favorable. Now, it's not dependent on your individual successes or failures. There's a target for the skill challenge that will be a mystery to you, and depending on how many successes and how many failures you get as a group, I will determine the outcome of your tracking endeavor. So without further ado, Grolite, please tell us how. Why did we bring this guy? You know, what good is he possibly going to do?
I've got.
I'm sure there's no good reason.
My time spent on the road has given me some extra knowledge in the local geography.
That would be very useful. So that's a skill check. Roll a d20, add your skill bonus.
All right.
And because this is an easy skill challenge, the target for all of your checks is going to be 10.
16
So-
plus 2, I rolled an 18.
Okay, so that's a smashing success.
Yes, sir.
You seem to be as familiar with the lay of the land as the goblins. And lo and
Taking my job.
behold, they've taken the
They've taken the Hobbit's Isengard.
House Isengard, exactly. They've taken the Northwest Passage. So you guys are now slightly moved into the mountainous region of the northern part of the continent. And as you continue on, it will be Grigor's turn to help the party in some way.
So, although I don't have a lot of height, my eyesight is fairly good, and I would like to use a spot check just to see if we see anything off in the distance that we should be wary of.
Gotcha. You'll be at a penalty unless someone lets you climb on top of their shoulders or you climb a tree.
I'm a tall guy, and I'm strong.
So you
Okay.
just lift him up without asking him, right?
No, he needs to ask me first.
Do I really have to ask Tarmus?
Or you can climb a tree.
Okay, I'm gonna get over my pride. Tarmus, put me on your shoulders, because I can see a lot farther than you.
Okay.
All right, little fella, up you go.
No penalty. Let's see the roll.
All right. Well, that's pretty
a
good.
Critical success, more than double the required value. So, counts as 2 successes. All right. Grigor, tell us what you see. And feel free to use some creative license here.
Through a bunch of fog, I see a lot of movement many miles from where we're standing up by, I think it's probably Greystone Keep. I'm not exactly sure. I just see like shadowy figures because there is a lot of fog, but they're moving very quickly, and there's a lot more of them than there are of us.
Right, well, sounds dangerous. Seek, how do you want to how do you want to continue with your 6 initiative?
Okay, I will. If he's conveyed that he sees a lot, I want to make sure that we haven't been we're not gonna get ambushed or anything. So
They are
I
very,
kinda
very
wanna-
far away, so that's not an immediate
Oh.
concern. But for
Yeah,
planning
many
for the
miles.
planning for the future,
Many
you're definitely going to be able to look for advantageous terrain. What skill are you using to do that?
Shit. I feel like I skilled the wrong things for tracking.
It's okay. It'll be
You only need to roll
you'll be
10.
useful in other ways later, so don't worry.
You can still roll a search or a spot check even if you don't have the skill points in it.
Right.
Yeah, let me see here. Spot was only +1 for me. So
Hey, that's not so bad. It's a pretty easy task.
You only need a 10
Give it a roll.
Or a 9 if you have a +1.
or a 9.
yeah.
Oh, Nightfall's in here. Call her.
Oh, come on. Okay. Roll 20 plus 1. Someone roll my 20 plus 1 for me.
No problem. I
Apparently
got it.
Let the DM do it.
Yeah, we might cheat.
We might accidentally roll +20.
Or -10. You never know.
Right.
Is it not /roll?
It is /roll.
Oh, but there's
Yeah,
a
it's
space.
not.
Aha.
There we go.
There's a space, yeah, between the. Okay, so your results are 16, and you come upon a ridge overlooking the valley, and the valley now is much more cavernous and rock-like than it was before. And looking down into it now, you've caught up to the shadowy figures a little bit, and thankfully now that you've gotten a little closer, you can see that there aren't quite as many as there were at first, but you worry that they haven't disappeared, that they've simply split off from this perhaps smaller group. What is Knight's status on Skype? Have we tried to call her?
Yeah, I am finally on. I'm so sorry, guys. My kid downloaded something that corrupted critical Windows files at about 10 o'clock last night.
It was probably
It's-
porn.
Yeah,
Oh,
I wouldn't be surprised. But
Hey, Knight. FYI, we're recording right now.
okay, well, like I said, it was just a bummer, and
It's no
I
problem.
have been trying to reload my system since 10 o'clock last night, and I'm ready to pull my hair out. What can I say?
Hey, we're just happy to have you with us. So, Knight, if you would just real briefly introduce yourself, say your online internet handle as well as the name of the character you're going to be playing in this game, and then I'll describe to you how you're going to be introduced to the gentleman.
Okay, and give me just a couple more minutes. Flash Player has decided it doesn't like me, so
No problem. Take all the
this
time.
is Nightfall as Azura, and I am the cleric in our group. All hail Paylor.
All hail. All hail. Okay, so the situation, Knight, just real quick before you go back, because you're fine for what I need you to do right now. You come upon this ridge, and you spot her before she spots you, but you can clearly discern from the markings on her clothes that she is a champion of good. And as you approach the overlook where she is standing, she notices you and sort of shushes you, but futilely. You were being very quiet. Tarmus, you were in the front of this party, so you're going to have the first opportunity to hail this mysterious woman.
Alright. Hello there. Have you seen any goblins perchance?
And Azura, he is talking to you.
No, I have not.
But you are tracking them. You just haven't found them yet.
But they went this way.
Alrighty then. Let's go that way then.
Sorry, guys. Like I said, I'm still working on getting this system back to some sort of order.
In the meantime, I have switched to Chrome for this occasion.
And, so yeah, Tarmis or anyone else who'd like to chime in, you might be able to help Azura, whose name you don't know in character yet, because no one's introduced themselves.
Someone more charismatic can do that.
Who are you and where are you coming from?
My name is Azura, and I am coming from
New Wayton.
New Wayton.
Okay, and where's that?
That's where we were from.
That's where
I'm,
you guys just
I'm,
came from.
I'm testing
There,
her.
obviously.
I'm testing her.
And Azura, you very accurately describe where New Wayton is, to the southeast of your current position.
And southeast of our current position, and goblins went that way.
So we're kind of close to Greystone Keep, aren't we?
Well,
Isn't there?
the map is not exactly to scale, and I've been taking a little bit of liberty with how I've been moving you guys around. You're probably about 6 hours out of New Wayton now, but it's a good 2 days journey to Greystone Keep. Again, sorry, the map's
The
not
map's
to
on a
scale.
low angle.
Exactly.
This one.
And we're moving through mountains anyway, so that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, I
this would
say
be- this is getting closer to where I would.
we
No.
get moving, because if we don't find somewhere safe by nightfall, I'd rather not be just hanging out in these mountains.
Okay.
Now, Bob, you know where the goblins are, and so Azura doesn't. You might be able to take a load off her mind by putting her on the right track.
Well, I will point in that general direction. Be like, yeah, they're like. What was the distance that I would have actually saw, like in miles?
You figure they're probably about 15 miles, sort of like out and down in this chasm.
Yeah, so I'll kind of point and be like, they're roughly 15 miles, kind of that way in this chasm area that I saw.
And so with Bob's help, Azura, now, through the fog and the stone, you sort of make out the very slight movement of small figures. With that, it brings us to Jury. It's Thohorn's turn to do something helpful.
Yes, with my extensive knowledge of the local geography, I think I have a good idea of where they might be traveling to, their most likely routes. Sound plausible?
It absolutely does.
Okay. And it was successful.
He's more knowledgeable than I.
Oh, it's a critical success, in fact.
Woohoo!
So your knowledge of the local geography is quite excellent. You once attended a festival that was held very nearby to this chasm, and so you vaguely remember, perhaps in a drunken stupor, heading off in this direction once. What could you have been doing, do you think,
Oh, me?
when you wandered off? Yeah.
Well, I was probably I probably woke up drunk and naked in the woods, and I was trying to find my way back to town.
It does sound like Thohorn. Okay, so yes, this looks familiar, and in fact, you come upon a cave where you're pretty certain the goblins that you have been following have stopped for the night. And finally, Azura, how are you doing? Could we get you in here for a little, or should we give you a minute to work on your technical stuff?
Yeah, I still need a couple minutes to deal with some technical issues, but I'm almost there.
Yeah, no problem. No problem at all. And so you are now at the point where there is concern that if you make too much noise, the goblins may be alerted to your presence.
Uh-oh.
So now here, just at the bottom of the map, I'd like you to arrange your tokens, and I'll give you each control over your tokens so that you can order them yourselves. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to arrange yourselves in the marching order. If you're going single file, if you've got 2 columns moving together, however you would like to do it.
Well, so Gregor or whatever is a rogue, correct?
It's not Gregor or whatever, Bob.
Gregor, whatever.
It's Gregor,
Gregor Cotton.
son of Charlie Cotton, ruler of
Cotton
streets.
fields.
I don't cotton to this.
Yeah, so I feel like I should probably be in the lead for obvious reasons.
I don't see the obvious reasons.
Because you're the big, strong fighter? What?
Because I'm stealthy.
Oh, that
You're
makes
running up ahead now.
sense.
The fighters, they don't think with their brains; they think with their biceps.
Swords.
Swords, yes.
I'll admit.
Bullhorn thinks with his swords as well. Just
I'm a lever, not a fighter.
Poor Bullhorn.
Alright, everyone should now have control over their token.
Yeah.
And so what I'd like you to do, up in the lower corner of the map, if we're putting cotton first, let's put cotton there, and then just arrange yourselves sort of behind cotton.
Where's
yeah.
Cotton?
Cotton's the purple one. The one marked with the purple. Over here on the left side.
Alright, I'm good.
Wow.
Way back there, huh?
I'll be all the way back.
So, just so that people
No,
who
but really,
are
no, really.
who are watching at home can see, yeah, it doesn't have to be to scale. Just sort of orient yourselves relative to each other, and that'll be perfect.
Well, actually, I probably would be pretty far back.
well, if we're
and,
traveling as a group, you're probably not so far back where it's like I have to yell to talk to you.
Well, but if we're going into a cave, yeah, far enough back.
and it's like hand signals, right? Like hold.
Yeah,
Our ranger doesn't
we'll
even know
like-
anything about the Earth. He's not going to understand hand signals.
Well, he's more of a military background,
Oh.
probably. So.
Yeah, see.
No, he's just the worst ranger ever.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
so,
alright, my climb skill's good, I can get over
Igor,
you.
please
on.
make a stealth roll.
Okay, so do I take any modifiers for a stealth roll?
So for a stealth roll, you roll a 20-sided die, you add your stealth skill, and your stealth skill is a combination of skill points that you spent on stealth, as well as your inherent dexterity modifier.
Move silently.
Yeah,
Move
like
silently. Thank you.
okay, that's the one. Okay, so I take the move silently bonus plus my dexterity.
I think
Your
it
move
should
silently
already
bonus should already have your dexterity calculated.
Gotcha.
calculated.
Okay, cool. 20.
All right,
Wow.
so you don't know what the goblins roll for their perception roll. I rolled that ahead of time, and
Okay.
now I know if they've heard you or not. You don't know this.
Okay.
But as you peek around the cavern wall and look inside, you appear to be unnoticed by a goblin sitting by a small fire in the cave entrance. He's kind of sitting up. There's some piles on the ground. You're not exactly sure what of the piles are stuff and what of the piles are other goblins. But it looks like there could be as few as 2 or as many as 4 other goblins beside this one who is most astutely keeping watch.
Okay, so I'm going to make a hand signal to Tarmus, telling him that I can see. I'm going to say for certain I can see 2 goblins. Does that work?
Yeah. Roll a intelligence check. And
that's
Tarmus,
that's not going to be good.
do you have any training in like military
I was a guardsman and knew waiting.
hand signals? Okay, so you'll get a bonus to interpreting this then. Grigor's gonna try and
Good, because
convey
I'm a minus
complex
1 to
message
intelligence.
you. Yeah. So you're sure this is gonna go through
It's
just fine. There's no way
Oh,
Tarmus.
I guess it works.
misunderstand
Plus
you.
minus 1.
Yeah. So I rolled an 18.
Okay.
Intelligence.
So Tarmus also speaks North Avonian Sign Language, just like you do, and knows exactly what you said and conveys it to the others. Tarmus, how do you want to proceed?
See, because I know I'm a big guy, I'll try to stay out of sight, which is going to be difficult. I'll try to stay. I'll move further back. No, wait. Damn it!
Tarmus
What
is
did I do?
thinking really hard. It looks like it hurts. Does anybody
He looks
else
very
think it hurts?
confused.
My
Looks like it
intelligence
hurts.
bonus isn't that high. Yeah. I move to the side.
Tarmus steps aside. Anybody else?
Oh god.
Somebody be useful in this party.
I'll kind of move up a bit and kind of look in there. I mean, is there any way to? Does it look like there's any way to sneak past them, or?
Well, the cave doesn't appear to be too large. You don't remember it being too big. It's kind of just like a nice place to find shelter for an evening. That's what you figure the goblins are doing.
Okay.
Ooh, I got an idea. Can we get another page with a basic drawing of like how the cave kind of looks?
Yes, next time.
Gotcha.
How many goblins are
Alright.
there altogether? Do we know?
We
You don't know, but your scout reported at least 2.
Well, okay.
Can we go in any order, or do we have to take turns here?
At this point, you do not need to take turns.
Because I'm wondering if I can check for traps of some kind before we
Do
were
that
to
now.
proceed.
Just give it a roll. You can't communicate with the other 4 without doing another intelligence roll, but the other 4 can communicate with each other.
Okay,
But you
because
can
I'm
make a trap roll right now. Yes.
okay. And would that be like a search roll or a spot roll?
Search. Yes.
Search. Okay.
Thievery is also acceptable for searching for traps specifically.
Okay. 10.
Okay. You're fairly certain the goblins haven't set up anything that you can't detect. There are no tripwires or covered pits or anything.
Okay, so I'm going to signal to Tarmus.
I'll peek around the corner.
This is going to be the hand signal. And that means it's safe in
Gotcha.
here.
And you two are already on the same page from that last roll, so you're tapped in, Tarmus. You know exactly what he's talking about.
Right. I pass the signal to the others.
Okay, I am going to see if he will otherwise make a hand signal that is for assassinate. Like, yeah, if they're sleeping, go and get one of them. Like, silently.
Basically waiting for Mr. Odd to stab some people so I can run in with a big sword.
Gotcha. Okay, so now, Grigor, you see them sign some things back, but you didn't pay as much attention to reading sign language as you did to writing it, so you gotta make another intelligence roll to see if you can tell what they're talking about.
That makes sense.
While they're doing this,
I'm going to bless the party that's standing here.
Okay, if you want to use any supernatural powers, let me know. Otherwise, I'll consider your character to be engaged in silent prayer. Vigilantly. Meditating, ready to strike at a moment's notice. Okay, Grigor, what's your intelligence?
Actually, I'm finally up and running.
Okay, I got a 14.
Okay, yeah, they just do like the signal,
Okay.
and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what that means.
So, are you guys coming? I'm just
I'll-
kidding. I'm just
They're
kidding.
They're
I'm
not
gonna-
coming.
No, I'm just kidding. I am going to. I guess I can go to move silently again, to try and get behind one of the goblins. I'm not going to be able to take both out, but I'm hoping if I can take one, then Tarmus will come in here and take care of the other one that we see.
Okay, so you hear some faint snoring coming from the goblin who should be keeping watch as you attempt to sneak into striking range.
Typical goblin. Okay, do I have to roll again for that?
Yes, you do. This is a more difficult roll.
I was born for this. Boom.
Bam!
Yes,
Okay,
you were.
you are right behind him. You may perform a coup de grace. It is a natural critical hit, but it can only be performed on an opponent who is unaware of you and defenseless,
Do it quietly.
Like this poor little goblin.
like this poor little goblin.
Okay, so I guess I'll use my dagger to attack this guy.
Right, and describe how you silently end his life.
Well, I'm sneaking up to right behind his head. He is well, what is he laying down, or is he? You said he's snoring.
He's
but
sitting
supposed to be guarding
Indian style, cross-legged on the floor.
on the floor, and is he against a wall?
He is sitting with his back against the wall.
And now we
Okay.
see whether Mr. Odd has studied biology or not.
Why?
To see if the guy screams.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm sneaking up to him ever so quietly, right in front of him, and I'm gonna I'm gonna go down on one knee, and I am about an inch from his disastrous-looking tiny face.
His breath
And-
smells horrendous.
Yeah, it does actually. And what I'm gonna do is I have my dagger in one hand, almost touching his throat, and then I'm just gonna take my other hand and I'm gonna you know how when people would sit on you when you were a kid, they would tap your forehead really hard.
No.
Well, that's
Happened to you?
that's a thing. That's a thing, and you'd have to name 10 chocolate bars before they would stop tapping your forehead. So what I'm gonna do?
Wow.
Wow,
I'm just
never
gonna
heard
start
of that.
rapidly
This explains
tapping
so
his
much.
forehead until he
Junk food,
opens
it's
his
an
eyes.
American thing, right?
Canadian. I'm gonna tap his forehead until he opens his eyes, and I'm gonna be right there, and his eyes are just gonna go really big, and I'm gonna slit his throat before he could even say anything. Man down.
Man down. Alright, and of course you then sort of cradle his body onto the floor.
Yes, naturally.
Make any noise to alert
And then
him.
I'm gonna whisper into his ears, and I'm gonna say, "Name 10 chocolate bars, bitch."
Channeling
And,
some
just
childhood
as you-
aggression
just
here.
as you finish uttering that,
That's my kill phrase.
Dwarven custom for big siblings to torture little siblings.
Yeah, right.
My halfling custom.
You hear a rustle and you see one of the other goblins sit up and he kind of blinks and rubs his eyes for a second. And so he's not aware of you yet, but you know that in about a half a second he's going to be quick without thinking. What's your first reaction? Quick,
Hide.
quick, quick.
Hide.
Hide. Okay, roll it. Okay, so you grab the cloak that was covering the now dead goblin, and you sort of make it look like he's just sleeping now, and he's covered up, and maybe he's covered up next to a backpack or something. That small one.
I'm the
halfling shape.
backpack. Great.
You're the backpack.
That's not racist.
Okay, so now here's a question. You're going to be found out sooner if you're peeking out of the cloak. But if you're not peeking, you won't be able to see what the goblin is doing. Would you like to peek or not to peek?
I'm not gonna peek. I'm going to wait to see, not to see, but I'm going to wait and use my ears to see if he goes back to sleep or what
Use your
have you.
halfling instincts.
Yes.
So you hear some cursing. Do you speak goblin?
No, I
So
speak.
you don't. You know it's bad. And you hear a little rustling. You feel a slight jolt. You think that the goblin who is now awake has probably kicked the now sleeping goblin. But when the sleeping goblin doesn't respond, you feel him be kicked again, and now a third time. And you suspect that the goblin is aware at this point, after the third kick, that his buddy is not going to wake up. What's your what's your first response?
Panicking.
Okay, so you panic under this cloak, and now all of a sudden the cloak has been lifted, and Tarmus, you're outside the cave. You hear a shrill yell, and I would like for everyone to roll for for initiative at the beginning of our first full session next Sunday.
Damn it! I panicked. Sorry, team.
So, sorry for the cliffhanger, everybody, but that will conclude it for today's session. As I mentioned to you all before, I'm moving today, so this will be the last time you see my lovely apartment here, but I'm moving to an even more lovely apartment just across town, so...
Awesome.
Nice. Congrats.
Unfortunately, I have to go right now, but I would like to, first of all, award a couple of experience points. Mr. Odd, Grigor, has, for the party, earned, I guess it would be divided 5 ways, so 20 experience points each for the goblin. And for successfully completing the skill challenge of goblin tracking, you've all earned 100 experience points.
So we all earned 120?
So you all earned 120.
Cool.
Yay.
I would also like to give Jury a 5-point experience point bonus. It's really just token, but I like doing it for little bits of role-playing. Jury, I liked your embellishment about the festivals. And Azura, give yourself 5 points as well. Your moment of silent prayer was completely superfluous and very nice. I liked that added to sort of the ambiance. Tarvis, give yourself 10 points for that accent. It's wonderful.
It is really good, actually.
And
I should take 5 points for my name.
yeah,
And Bob,
yeah.
you lose 15 experience for being Bob.
But
Sounds reasonable.
that will do it for us for today. So everybody got about 120 experience points.
Very cool.
Not bad for an hour of adventuring. And when we start next time, we'll pick up right where we left off. Grigor has just been uncovered in the Goblin Cave from his little snuggle fest. Yep, the rest of you have heard the goblin scream, so we'll see what happens next time.
Awesome. A whole week to plan our response.
Great. Okay, so I would say same bad time, same bad place, but it's not, because today was special. But tomorrow, not tomorrow, next Sunday, we're going to start at our regularly scheduled time, which is 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific.
Okay,
10
sounds good.
p.m.
Cool. 10
Central
p.m.
European.
Danish.
Noon.